Hey, Kyle, it's wonderful here again with another wrestling review. This time it's NJPW G1 Night 3 from July 20th, 2022. So we're live from Sendai, Japan, and it should be even hotter there and more humid than Sapporo. Sapporo's on the northern island, so we're still not going to be quite as hot in the summer here as Tokyo will be, but they're working their way down south. We've had 2 nights and 8 G1 matches so far. We've seen some upsets, some great matches so far. So let's see if that continues tonight. We've got Hiroki Goto versus Tetsuya Naito in the main event. But the preliminary tag matches tonight don't look too bad either. And spoiler alert, the preliminaries are pretty good. So we'll just get right into it. You can find we've been following along with all the stories. I put out a review each night after G1, and as well later that day, backstage comments where I'll read out all the translations from the backstage comments to the press. So definitely check those out so you don't miss out on some of the stories that are going along in the background. And our first match of the night is going to be TMDK, represented by Bad Dude Tito and JONAH, who JONAH is in the G1 Monster A block. They'll fight Team Filthy, Royce Isaacs, and Tom Lawlor. Tom Lawlor also in A block. So for the third night in a row here on G1, Team Filthy will start the action as Tom Lawlor and Royce Isaacs take on JONAH and Bad Dude Tito. These four are familiar with one another on NJPW Strong, including this week's match. We saw Bad Dude Tito come close to defeating the former Strong champion. Tom Lawlor. That match was really good. So they just had a match on Strong, so they know each other well. And maybe a different story, especially after JONAH was now humiliated in defeat by Toru Yano on Sunday. So JONAH did not start his G1 very strong. Tom Lawlor had some of the biggest weight. He had to wait still another week until he gets to start his league matches. So that's why he's starting the match out here 3 times in a row. On the opening match of the night, Tom Lawlor's music hits as Team Filthy comes out first. Filthy Tom Lawlor comes out with Royce Isaacs. Lawlor still has 6 more days until his G1 starts officially. So that should work out nice for Tom Lawlor. He's getting a lot of time to adjust on his first trip ever to Japan. So Lawlor will fight Lance Archer in his first match for G1 in 6 days. But Archer's league starts tonight against Bad Luck Fale. So that's how it worked out with having odd number. We have 7 people in 4 different groups. So there's always someone that has to have a no match each round if you want to look at that way. JONAH's really cool music hits. It fits him very well. JONAH's out with his TMDK partner, Bad Dude Tito. And yeah, that match we saw on New Japan Strong Saturday was really good. It really opened my eyes to Bad Dude Tito's technical skills, which he has a Street Fighter background. So cool to see that the big guy, Bad Dude Tito, has technical skills to go with it. Tom Lawlor, of course, coming from an MMA background, a legit really tough guy with a lot of holds and strong style type stuff. So JONAH and Royce Isaacs start the match here. Kevin Kelly's on commentary all by himself tonight. Unfortunately, no real-time translations from his normal broadcast partner, Chris. So I think Chris will be back during this weekend and for the rest of G1. JONAH starts the match strong with some big shoulder tackles. JONAH's about 400 pounds, so he's using his weight advantage here. But Royce gets right back up and tags in Lawlor, while JONAH also tags out. So we get a little rematch here from New Japan Strong on Saturday. Tom Lawlor versus Bad Dude Tito. They go right back to the technical stuff they were doing in that match. Looked really good here. A Lawlor lock is now applied to the leg of Tito, who powers out to the ropes to break it. Lawlor does a tornado-style headlock that looked really cool, almost like you were going to do a tornado DDT, but puts it into a headlock, and that takes down Tito to the mat. JONAH looks like he was about to come in, so Royce and Tom double team JONAH, and we see the filthy pose after that. But that gives JONAH time to come back in after the posing. Tito is able to take control with JONAH's help, and then tags in JONAH, who puts in the mud crab, the Boston crab from JONAH on Tom Lawlor. So Tom Lawlor and JONAH will meet in A block action on July 30th, a week from Saturday. Lawlor then gets out of this and Tito tags in. Lawlor hits a kick, but it counters. Lawlor counters back and hits a really nice looking spine buster at this point. Tag to Isaacs now. We're at the 5-minute mark. They have Tito isolated in the corner for a while now. They use quick tags to keep it that way. They hit a double team move that has Tito in trouble, but Tito is a tough guy, a street fighter. He's able to kick out at 2. Now we have the crowd rallying behind Bad Dude Tito, the lesser of two evils here. And Tito counters twice, hits a middle rope blockbuster to both men at the same time. That looked great from Bad Dude Tito. JONAH now gets the hot tag. Isaacs tags in too. JONAH runs right through an attack and knocks Tom off the apron. JONAH's still really mad about the Yano League match that over the weekend. And so am I, to be honest. That was not very good. JONAH slams Royce while yelling out TMDK. That looks pretty cool. Royce then fights back with some elbow strikes, but eats a massive senton right after that from the big 400-pounder. Tito in the intercept Tom Lawlor, who tried to come in and help. Tito hits a nice suplex, then dives right onto the outside on the Lawlor. Back in the ring, Royce has hits a really good, beautiful looking German deadlift on a 400 pounder. Royce Isaacs really showing his strength on that one. Great deadlift German suplex. JONAH's able to kick out and then hits the Black Forest Bomb, one of the big finishers from JONAH for the 1-2-3. So JONAH able to withstand that big German suplex and then get right up and hit his finisher. The winners by pinfall are TMDK, JONAH, and Bad Dude Tito. Tito had a good showing in that match too and made sure Tom Lawlor wasn't able to come in at the end to break the pin. Tito says, "Big boys make big noise. Too big, too strong, too bad." And JONAH says, "This year's all about the top dog. This year's G1 is mine." So cool that we get to hear their thoughts right here in the camera. We've got our second match now. It'll be an 8-man tag. Bullet Club represented by the House of Torture. Dick Togo, El Phantasmo joining the House of Torture here, and Evil and Show. So Yujiro Takahashi has a match tonight. El Phantasmo drafted in, and they will fight the 4 heavyweights in United Empire that are all in G1. So that'll be Aaron Henare, Great-O-Khan, Jeff Cobb, and Will Ospreay. So after United Empire took on House of Torture and Sapporo in a wash for the much disliked group, El Phantasmo joins Evil Show and Dick Togo tonight to face the group again. Will Ospreay in the process again against El Phantasmo. Remember, that was a great match on night 1 of G1 where Will Ospreay won. So on opening night, a momentary lapse in attention would see ELP dropped with a nasty looking hidden blade. And tonight, Phantasmo might be more focused on his opposition. Now, he may have more issues with his partners, however, and after a pre-tournament interview, the press conference, we're seeing less charitable moments towards basically they were talking some crap about House of Torture and Yujiro Takahashi, who's in the same block as them. So they might be a little bit uncomfortable bedfellows tonight. Let's find out. And one of the big questions going into this G1 will Jay White's version of Bullet Club and the House of Torture version of Bullet Club survive through this G1 still intact? We'll find out as this goes. House of Torture comes out first. The Evil's music. ELP doesn't seem too worried to have to tag with them, but doesn't really walk near House of Torture either. Great entrance routine now by United Empire. Nothing cheesy. It just looked really cool. And Will Ospreay has the Rev Pro British Heavyweight title with him, but still has not gotten hold of his IWGP US title. Juice said Ospreay will never have the title. So Henare and Ospreay have 2 points in the bank already in G1 action. Henare beat his old senpai Tanahashi. Meanwhile, Jeff Cobb lost in the main event of night 1 to Okada, and a tough loss there for Cobb. The same man that ruined Cobb's perfect run in G1 Climax 31 last year. So Cobb's looking to regain some confidence here. And Saturday, Henare takes on another guy with 2 points in the bank already, Zack Sabre Jr. That'll be an interesting one. House of Torture, of course, jump United Empire before the bell rings, but Dick Togo gets stuck with Jeff Cobb. Cobb just quickly takes out Togo and helps the rest win their brawls. So now we get a quadruple stretch by United Empire on Dick Togo, where Ospreay yelled out, "Let's stretch this dick." And Ospreay tags in and controls Togo now, but ELP trips Ospreay from the outside and an 8-man brawl ensues. Evil takes out the ring announcer Abe with a really hard shot, throwing Henare into the barricade right in front of Abe. Abe was shaken up on that one. Show now tags in and has Ospreay in trouble after House of Torture, of course, win the brawl. That's their specialty. ELP comes in and does a jumping jack somersault flipping back rake and then snaps the finger back of Will Ospreay. Ospreay counters, but ELP then stomps the toes to get back in control. ELP then does a quadruple springboard back rake, and Ospreay just grabs the nips now of ELP. A little weird stuff happening here. Show tries to come and help, but the Ospreay's grip is too tight, and eventually Ospreay or ELP gets out, and Ospreay hits a handspring on both men, attack on both men at the same time. A little awkward there, but good stuff with that handspring. Henare now tags in. So does Evil. These two will meet later in G1. I didn't look up the day. Sorry about that. But Henare then hits a nice looking blue thunder bomb. Henare tries to go to the top rope, but Show stops him from doing anything. Evil now throws Henare back first into the exposed turnbuckle, thanks to Dick Togo, of course. Togo tags in for some reason, but Henare kicks out. Togo now uses his weapon to try it on the throat of Henare, but Great Okan makes the save. Show tries to help, but Okan puts both men in the Iron Claw at the same time. Okan lifts Togo up, hits Show with Togo, then Okan throws Dick Togo into Hanare's open arms, right into the Ultima full Nelson for the submission victory. Your winners by submission are United Empire. They've now won 2 straight matches against House of Torture in these preliminary rounds, in these preliminary matches, I should say, but had to withstand a lot of cheating attacks in the process. So Great Okan says something. Unfortunately, Chris isn't here to translate it, but it seemed to just be a roll call for the United Empire. So later today, come back to my channel. I'll have all the backstage comments translated, and I'll read them out loud if you're the type that doesn't like to read subtitles. We move on to our third match. It'll be Young Lion, Ryohei Oiwa, and Toru Yano versus fellow Chaos members of Yano's, Kazuchika, Okada, and YOSHI-HASHI. So it was a successful weekend for Chaos members in Sapporo. For Okada beat Jeff Cobb, of course, and Toru Yano somehow survived JONAH. So yet the two teammates will face each other next on July 23rd. That's Saturday. And this creates intriguing tag preview here in Sendai. So will YOSHI-HASHI also facing Shingo Takagi Saturday, the Rainmaker and the Headhunter will take no mercy on Yano here, or Oiwa. So they've got big matches coming up, and the very next event is Saturday. That's the next night 4. That'll be the next night. So Yano's music hits. I instantly get mad about Saturday again. Why make JONAH look foolish in his debut match here? But anyway, Yano is just so old. His shtick is old. He's been doing it for so damn long now. I really never want to see Yano again. But this match was pretty cool. So we kind of get to see 10 years ago Yano when he was actually doing good stuff. Anyway, Young Lion Roy Oiwa, of course, runs out ahead of Yano. Another match where Oiwa will be in the ring with Okada, getting valuable experience. Okada's music now hits. He comes out with YOSHI-HASHI, 1/3 of the Never 6-man tag team champions. So the former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion here, Okada, really wants to win G1, get his title back, prove that he's not out of his prime yet, and that the people still love him. So these are all the things Jay White was putting in the head during the big beatdown in Dominion, where Jay White we could say stole the title. He had a lot of cheating and help in that match. So that's the whole story with Okada going through this G1. Yano jumps his Chaos teammate Okada before the bell even rings. So we can see Yano's here to fight. Yano's been scared of all the other monsters, but apparently not scared at all of Okada. Yano throws Okada super hard into the barricade. Man, not even holding back at all. Yano now hits a chair off the really hard off Okada's back. No DQ there. Yano then takes a turnbuckle pad off. Back in the ring now. Okada hits some forearms, but Yano pokes the eyes and throws Okada right into the exposed turnbuckle. So that's what I was talking about. We're actually getting like 10 years ago Yano here. So Okada then fights back, gets another finger to the eye, but is able to knock down Yano. Yano's sent now into the exposed turnbuckle himself as Okada tags in YOSHI-HASHI. Yoshi now slows the pace way down and wears down Yano with some big strikes. Yano breaks a chin lock, able to get to the ropes. Okada wants back in. He hits a beautiful slingshot senton on the Yano. Okada hits a big running back elbow into a DDT, and then Yano counters Okada into a roll-up. Both of those for 2. YOSHI-HASHI tags in, but he can't maintain control, so Oiwa tags in. He's all fired up. The young lion takes down YOSHI-HASHI. Then Oiwa hits a really nice looking gut wrench suplex into his Boston Crab finisher. YOSHI-HASHI tries to get to the ropes, but Oiwa drags him to the center. Yoshi's really struggling here, but finally gets to the ropes to break it. Yoshi was in there for a long time. But turns around into a massive strike that sounded really nasty. Oiwa was rocked by that strike. Yano knows that, so he rushes in to break up the pin. Oiwa looked barely conscious on that strike from YOSHI-HASHI. Okada runs in to help as well. He holds on to Yano, but Yano ducks, and YOSHI-HASHI chops Okada on accident. So it should be pretty interesting on the backstage comments later on. YOSHI-HASHI takes down Oiwa now and locks in his submission finisher, and Oiwa is forced to tap out. So your winners by submission are Okada and YOSHI-HASHI. Yano attacks Okada right after the match, but Okada counters it, and Okada now sends Yano hard into the barricade. So it even hurt Kevin Kelly on commentary a little bit. The barricade, he said, went right into his gut, and he's now coughing a little bit. I don't know. He might have been selling it. No way to tell. But Yano runs away after this, and it's going to be really interesting backstage comments, and that match Saturday should be interesting as well. Yano versus Okada. So we've got 6-man tag match next, and it's Hiroshi Tanahashi, Kosei Fujita, another young lion, and Tomohiro Ishii versus Bullet Club. It's Jay White, Juice Robinson, and Kenta. What a lineup there. So as G1 continues in an ultra competitive B block, it'll be Ishii meeting his nemesis Jay White here, and Ishii's campaign started with another man he had a long-standing issues with, Taichi, and the result was not favorable for the Stone Pitbull. So Jay White would like to take great delight here in effectively shutting down Ishii in B block competition. They've got on Saturday. So next night of G1 will be on Saturday, and it will be Ishii versus Jay White. So with the Chaos member eager to get on the board and remind Switchblade that his superior form against him, Ishii does have a good record against Jay White. Meanwhile, long before Kenta and Hiroshi Tanahashi meet on August 14th, the bad blood continues to boil. Kenta is even more sour after having been forced to submit to his own to his old trainee Zack Sabre Jr. on Sunday. So that was one of the matches of G1 so far for sure. Kenta coming up with the on the short end of tapping out to Zack Sabre Jr. So Tanahashi's music hits. He comes out with Young Lion Fujita and Ishii. The Bullet Club music now sounding like D-Generation X ripoff instead of before it sounded like NWO. I like that little nod to both of them. And Jay White, Juice Robinson, and Kenta come out. What a ridiculous thing pairing of wrestlers here. Wrestling is just wild that they can all now end up on the same stable together. Gato, of course, is out here too. He doesn't leave Switchblade's side any time ever. Juice Robinson gets on the microphone and says he's the IWGP United States champion since the announcers refused to call him that. He has to do it himself. Kenta is my favorite along with Naito right now in New Japan. Jay White plays around with Tanahashi before the bell even rings. Ishii sends him packing, but Jay White attacks Ishii when his back was turned. So Oiwa then fights off them for a little bit. To try and save Tanahashi, but it only lasts a few seconds. Oiwa gets triple teamed, and then so does Tanahashi. So Jay White will start this match against Tanahashi. Tana then knocks the other two off the apron and hits a springboard crossbody to Jay. That was pretty cool opening little flurry to this match. Juice stops this attack from the outside, grabbing the leg of Tanahashi. Kenta now attacks Tanahashi from behind, and they drag Tanahashi to the outside. They double team Tana a little bit, and the crowd's now rallying big time. Back in the ring now, Jay White gets a 2 count. And Jay attacks the leg now, tags in Juice, who attacks the leg as well. Juice then hits a nice looking backbreaker and gets the crowd to rally again behind Tanahashi. Kenta now tags in, hits a suplex for a 2. They're really taking it to Tanahashi early in this match here. So I was like, why don't you just kick him, Kenta? Kick him. You want revenge on Tanahashi. Why are you tagging out? But no, Kenta hits some shoulder thrust into the corner, tags in Jay. Now the quick tags between all 3 members as they do shoulder thrust in the corner. Juice then puts a rear chin lock on, and again, why wouldn't Kenta just kick Tanahashi's head when he had the chance there? But anyway, Juice uses the hair to keep control of the chin lock, and Juice tags in Jay White. Juice knocks the other two men off the apron and works over the crowd some more. They rally big time behind Tanahashi again. Oiwa from the apron now pulls Jay's hair and what fighting fire with fire, the young lion here. This gives Tanahashi enough time to recover, and Tana hits a big dragon screw leg whip and tags in Ishii. So Ishii now in, he counters Juice, but Kenta comes in to help. And then Kenta accidentally kicks Jay White in the face, not once, but twice. So big development there. Little storyline hint there. Kenta accidentally kicking the leader of Bullet Club twice here in the face. Ishii then has Jay hits a big suplex, but Jay blocks the second suplex attempt. Jay fires up now. He fires up Ishii with a forearm. If you hit Ishii with a forearm, that's just going to fire him up. But then Jay must have known what he was doing. He hits a big DDT right after that. Jay baited Ishii in there. So Kenta now tags in. His punches have no effect on Ishii. Ishii then dodges a Yakuza kick and then tags in Oiwa. Oiwa then hits Kenta with a drop kick, but Kenta blocks the suplex attempt. Oiwa comes back with a few forearms and hits his overhead belly-to-belly suplex anyway that he tried the first time. Really good suplex there by Oiwa. Oiwa locks in the Boston Crab, his finisher on Kenta, as Ishii and Tanahashi attack the other two on the outside. Kenta is able to get to the ropes, of course. So Oiwa stays on the attack, though, and Kenta blocks a slam. Then Tanahashi's getting, I was trying a scoop slam there. Tanahashi's now getting double teamed on the outside by Juice Robinson and Jay White. Meanwhile, Kenta has the Boston Crab on Oiwa. Oiwa's trying to get to the ropes but can't. Tanahashi out of nowhere comes in and breaks the hold. Must have fought off that double team. So Jay White then asks Kenta mid-match, "Why did you kick me?" And this helps Oiwa counter and hit multiple forearms on Kenta now. Kenta counters a charging Oiwa now with a huge lariat, but Oiwa still kicks out. Oiwa fights off the submission attempt for 3 different near falls by the young lion here on Kenta. But after the third one, Kenta just counters it into a game over face, crossface. Oiwa is forced to tap out. Kenta, of course, does not let go of the hold, and Ishii's now tearing apart the barricade and trying to attack Jay, but Jay just runs away. So Ishii versus Jay White will be soon, and Kenta helps Jay escape. So Ishii versus Jay White is Saturday, I should have said. The next night we have a G1 big league match there, where Ishii's down with 0 points and Jay White has 2 in the board in the bank. So Tanahashi helps Oiwa to the back. That was a pretty good match for a preliminary tag match. That was a really good one. So Jay White's now saying to Kenta back in the ring now. He's like, 1 kick is one thing, but 2 kicks to my face. Come on, man. So Kenta apologizes. Jay White hugs Kenta, but then gives Kenta a stern talking to with his finger in Kenta's face. So I would say again, Kenta, kick his head off. We need Kenta in United Empire or something, anything but Bullet Club. So Juice talks trash to the camera about Ospreay and they leave. Definitely don't like seeing Kenta getting talked down to by Jay White there. So we've got a 6-man tag match next. It's Suzuki-gun represented by Tai Chi, Taka Michinoku, and Zack Sabre Jr. versus Los Ingobernales de Japón, Bushi, Sanada, and Shingo Takagi. And Los LIJ were dealt harsh results in Sapporo as Sanada dropped his first match to Jay White, and Shingo Takagi lost on day 2 main event in his hometown, the Juice Robinson. Meanwhile, opening weekend treated Suzuki-gun and Dangerous Techers in particular very well, as Zack Sabre Jr. submitted Kenta and Tai Chi was able to pin Tomohiro Ishii. They both got 2 big points in the bank. They're converging fortunes in this match will now meet in 6-man tag action, with Tai Chi scheduled to wrestle Sanada in their respective second round matches coming up on Sunday. So this will be a competitive reunion here. And if you've been following along on the backstage comments, you know that there's a lot more going on behind the scenes here too. So Suzuki-gun come out to Zack Sabre Jr.'s music. It's Taka, Zack, and Tai Chi. They look ready for this one. As usual, LIJ all get their own entrances, started by Bushi. We've been getting Bushi in these preliminary matches since Hiromu's about to go to America for New Japan Strong. They're running a bunch of shows during G1. By a bunch, I think it's 2, maybe even 3 though. But El Desperado and Kushida are also going to be on those cards, so definitely keep watching New Japan Strong. It's going to be some good stuff in the next couple months on there every Saturday night. So pretty cool for the juniors to have a thing to do during the G1, little mini excursions, if you will. So Sonata's out second, and Shingo flanks the group coming out third. If you missed all the backstage comments during New Japan Road, Taichi basically, I don't know how else to say this, but Taichi basically told Sonata that he wants him, if you know what I mean. So that's a little awkward. I don't know the whole backstory behind that, but probably mind games by Taichi trying to get into the head of Cold Skull. So this is their first match together since that whole talking about that. So we get some stalling and before the match, waiting for the LIJ fist pose. And this is the last preliminary match of the night. The 75 minutes that's flown by so far. A really good sign that this was that's a mark of a good preliminary like roster or however you want to say it. So Zack Sabre Jr. then says something about Dragon Bullocks that made me laugh. And then of course Taichi wants Sonata to start the match with him. So more mind games potentially. Taichi tells Sonata the do the peck dance thing. So they have a peck dance battle. Sonata makes the crowd the loudest they've been all night, and maybe the loudest the crowd was all night long was for Sonata making his pecs dance here. So that's interesting. Taichi then tags out the Zack, and since Sonata beat him in the popularity contest, Taichi doesn't want anything to do with actually fighting Sonata. So Shingo tags in along with Zack, and the actual match will start now. So super fast paced, reversing each other back and forth at the beginning here until Shingo hits a nice dragon screw leg whip, then tags in Bushi. They double team Zack's legs a little bit here, and Bushi hits a leg breaker. And Zack counters twice in a row now and applies an ankle lock on Bushi. Sonata's now sent into the barricade on the outside by Taichi on a sneak attack. Bushi gets to the ropes to break the ankle lock, and Zack limps over. He's got a lot of damage on his knee from that attack from earlier. So Zack's limping here. He tags in Taka now wears in Bushi, and he tags out to Taichi. Taichi's now talking trash to Shingo. Shingo's last defense, remember, of the KOPW trophy was against Taichi. So we get a Greco-Roman throat hold by Bushi on Taichi. I mean, on Bushi by Taichi. But Bushi hits a drop kick to the knee to get out of this. Sonata then, with a quick pace, takes out all three men. Taka's then put into the Paradise Lock. And now Taka's in a ball in the corner while Sonata and has a striking exchange with Taichi. Taichi goozles Sonata, but Sonata blocks this, whatever attempt it was going to be. Taka then out of the ball Paradise Lock now, and Taichi and Sonata are still down. So a buzz saw kick is blocked by, and then several suplexes are blocked until Taichi kicks the arm of Sonata, going after the arm here. So Taka tags in now and locks the just face lock on Sonata, using his power advantage to get to the ropes. Sorry, this one's hard to read because my spell check didn't like any of these names in particular. Sonata then counters Taka once, but ends up in the just face lock again. Sonata gets out, but Taka rolls up Sonata for a 2 count. Taka hits big strikes now for a 2 count, and Taka's getting way too much offense on Sonata, I thought here. So anyway, Sonata counters the Michinoku driver attempt into his dragon sleeper, winds it around a couple times and forces Taka to tap out. So your winners by submission is LIJ. Sonata versus Taichi will be on Sunday in G1 action. Sonata and Taichi have a peck dance battle at the end, and Shingo stares down Zack Sabre Jr., who are in the same group, I believe. So Suzuki-gun leaves. Shingo stops Sonata from leaving so they can do the fist pose with Bushi. So that was hard to read. Sorry about that one. Intermission time, and we'll be back with right after intermission with 4 G1 matches tonight. Really good preliminaries. A lot of stories being told in these preliminaries. Should be good in the backstage comments after as well. So let's get right into it. We start with G1 Climax 2022, G1 Climax 32, I should have said. D block action. It'll be Yujiro Takahashi versus David Finlay. This is David Finlay's first ever G1 League match. So these two men have had 44 tag matches against each other since 2015, but this is somehow the first ever singles match between Yujiro Takahashi and David Finlay. So David Finlay finally makes his official G1 Climax debut against Yujiro here. The Rebel Finlay is fighting with much to improve in this tournament, making his G1 debut after 7 years of waiting in the system. So he also is wrestling as a dedicated singles competitor after Juice Robinson turned on him. So redefining himself as his own man, he has to take on Yujiro here in the House of Torture tactics that it implies. And I forgot about the House of Torture tactics halfway through the match. And so did Kevin Kelly, who had the line of the night when he says, I forgot House of Torture existed there for a minute. So anyway, spoiler alert. So Yujiro is going to be willing to do anything, and Finlay has his Fairly Heirloom Shillelagh with him as well. So Pimp Stick versus Shillelagh, potentially fight fire with fire. So we'll see if David Finlay can come out of this with the 2 points. Yujiro comes out first, and thankfully he's got Peter with him, because that's one of the only interesting things about Yujiro. So she's Yujiro's not terrible, but he's just average. And I was gonna say Peter looks great, but she's definitely one of the longest tenured Bullet Club members at this point ever, which is pretty funny if you think about it. So David Finlay gets his music played for the first time in all of G1. He had to come out to other people's random music in the past, even though Bushi gets his own entrance each night. So it's pretty cool music. I'm not sure if it's new or not, but it's like Irish but heavy. It's not like Irish pub music. It's pretty heavy. It's pretty cool. David has to win this match to have any hope in the G1 later on, since there's only 6 matches per block. 2 losses might put you out of contention. So David Finlay's going to have a tough time to not get eliminated early if he doesn't get the 2 points against Yujiro here. So Yujiro will want to keep the pace slow, and Finlay's going to want to keep the pace fast. That'll be the story of this match. We start with some amateur wrestling. Both have an amateur wrestling background. Pretty good stuff there. And if Yujiro kind of stuck with the amateur wrestling and laid off all the other shenanigans, he'd be a lot better. Yujiro is good at the amateur grappling stuff. Anyway, Yujiro gets to the ropes and yells clean break in English. David says, you know who you're in the ring with right now. But he does give him the clean break. They go back to grappling now. Finlay has a nice reversal to damage the arm right off the rope. That was pretty cool looking. And then takes Yujiro to the mat. But Yujiro, of course, bites his way out of this. Finlay keeps the pace fast like he wants to with a few pins, then a drop kick. The fight then spills to the outside, where Yujiro will, of course, have the advantage. House of Torture probably spend 40% of their matches outside the ring brawling on a daily basis. So Yujiro hits a reverse DDT out on the floor that almost has Finlay knocked out already. Yujiro figures the count out won't work because he's a veteran. So he rolls in Finlay into the ring, punches Finlay right in the face, but this only gets a 1 count. Yujiro hits a few more attacks, gets a 2 count out of it, but Yujiro senses that he's getting a little bit close, and he hits a big Yakuza kick into the corner. The crowd is silent, deadly silent during all of this. After Finlay kicks out at 2, the crowd claps a little bit, getting louder. Now we're at the 5-minute mark as Yujiro goes to attack on the arm. Even though Finlay's neck and head are more damaged, Yujiro tried to go to the arm. But I guess it's working because it took a while for Finlay to get out of this. Yujiro's now slammed into the turnbuckle to break the hold. Finlay hits a nice-looking neck breaker that the crowd loved, and they're 100% behind Finlay here, and they absolutely do not like the House of Torture. Finlay quickens the pace again after a little breather, but Yujiro bails out of the ring, sensing that the pace was quicking. He doesn't like that. So Finlay hits a plancha to the outside, then slams Yujiro on the apron and rolls him back in. Really smart move by Finlay. He does not want to brawl on the outside here, and that was the most painful way to get the action back in the ring fast, by slamming the back of Yujiro on the apron. Now we get a Uranagi backbreaker from Finlay for a 2 count. A huge sliding forearm from Finlay and another 2 count. Yujiro is able to block a pile driver and then biting the hand. Yujiro counters a charge from Finlay after that and hot shots Finlay across the top rope. attacking that neck again. That neck's a little bit damaged now by Finley. Yujiro hits a fisherman's buster off of this for a 2 count, and Finley's surgically repaired shoulder is now in rough shape along with his neck. Yujiro puts Finley up on the top rope. The crowd tries to rally Finley, who is able to block a top rope fisherman's buster that surely would have ended it. Finley blocks that, then sunset flips off onto the mat and hits a nice looking running power bomb for a 2 count. Show now comes out, and Kevin Kelly with the line of the night. Damn it, I didn't even think of House of Torture once in this match. But of course, here's House of Torture tactics. Yujiro hits the Olympic slam off of the distraction. Show gives Yujiro the shillelagh that belongs to Finley, while the ref's back was turned, taking the shillelagh out. Low blow by Yujiro, then pimp juice, but somehow Finley kicks out of this. The crowd absolutely loves it. But they were still louder for that peck dance earlier. That was ridiculous. Anyway, they do get louder, a little bit louder now, and rally behind Finley. Finley throws Yujiro into Show, who was on the apron, and Finley hits a stunner. I thought that might have been it, but nope, that's only for a 2 count. Show now hits Finley in the head with his wrench. Pimp juice. 1, 2, 3. The winner by pinfall and cheating is Yujiro Takahashi. So Finley getting the JONAH treatment here, losing with shenanigans in his G1 debut. Peter celebrates with Yujiro, who can barely even stand. Yujiro is now 5-4 in his first match of G1, so he's someone you don't want to get first. Yujiro fights ELP of all people this Sunday, where we'll finally see Jay White's Bullet Club versus House of Torture, and what the repercussions might come from that. So Peter tongue jacks the camera as they go through the curtain. Yeah, unfortunate for Finley. They probably should have gave Finley the win there, but I guess Yujiro's gimmick is he's good as the rains open and pound on my roof. Hopefully I can get through the rest of this. So we got 3 matches left. Shouldn't take too long here. And next one, we've got G1 Climax 32 B block action as Tama Tonga looks for some revenge against Chase Owens, his former partner, or not partner, but teammate in Bullet Club. So they have fought before. There's a singles record of 1-0 to Tama Tonga. Tama Tonga's first league match will be against former Bullet Club ally and Chase Owens. Tonga is on the road to revenge in G1 Climax 32 and is driven to take all his former partners down. While Owens is an attractive revenge prospect, as Jay White is at the end of the tournament. So the good bad guy here will be looking to start strong. For Owens' part, the opportunity to earn considerable respect from Bullet Club and Jay White in this particular match means he's going to be really keen to win this one for some street cred within the Bullet Club. So, well, if all that House of Torture crap didn't get you discouraged, probably hearing Chase Owens' music right after that did. So let's see if he can have some good matches. I'll give him a chance. This one does have a lot of story and history behind it, at least. And I did say in my last review that I thought Tama Tonga and Switchblade who meet on the final day of block action. I think they'll meet, or at least I thought they would meet with a 5-1 record. Meanwhile, Chase Owens will finish 2-4 with both of his 2 wins against Tama and Jay. That was my prediction anyway. So Tama comes out in some pretty cool looking red gear, and Tama knew that Chase would try a sneak attack, so he countered it right away. Chase rolls out of the ring and talks some trash. He's upset about that. And I see that Jado is here ringside, but Chase Owens super kicks Jado right in the face at the start of this match. So Chase is able to bait Tama in the coming outside. Chase gets control and had trouble getting out of the ring, and then slams Tama to the barricade. Neckbreaker on the outside has Tama in trouble already. Owens wants to count out victory, but Tama just gets in, of course. That's the difference here in experience between Yujiro and Chase. Remember, Yujiro just brought him back in. He knew it was too early for the count out victory, but Chase Owens let the man recover and come back in instead. Chase stays in control, however, even though he made that mistake, hitting a big axe handle off the top rope. Really slow pace to this match. It's been boring so far. So Chase then takes the turnbuckle off. The pad off, and Tama fires up now. He had a little chance to recover. The pace quickens here. Chase counters into a swinging neck breaker for a 2 count. So Chase cut down that comeback. Chase now wears down Tama a little bit more, hits a closed fist punch to the face that he was able to hide from the referee with his body. Clever move there. Crowd now rallies big time behind Tama Tonga. They're 100% behind Tama. Chase fights off the comeback and hits a front chancery, or applies a front chancery. So Chase keeps cutting off the comebacks. Tama's now starting the strike out of this front chancery. So Chase just hits a scoop slam. Chase tries another top rope double axe handle, but Tama counters this one with a punch to the gut. The crowd now gets loud after Tama gets on the attack with 2 European uppercuts and a big lariat. They want Tama Tonga to end it now. Tama quickens the pace even more, hits a few big strikes. The crowd's even louder. Massive corner splash, huge height on that splash by Tama, and a really good suplex after for a 2 count. The crowd's in love with this one, and really good offense by Tama Tonga. He's got all his offense looks really sharp. Tama now pulls the hair and looking for the Tonga twist, but Chase counters this into a sunset flip and cracks Tama's head right into the turnbuckle. Jato's now yelling for Tama to kick out, because he could tell that maybe Tama was a little woozy, maybe a little knocked silly on that one. So Tama kicks out twice. Chase thought he could maybe try it a second time, which that was kind of smart by Chase. Chase keeps the pace slow now. That's his game plan here. Every time Tama quickens the pace, Chase is definitely overwhelmed. So Chase wants to keep this very slow. Tama's able to counter a C trigger knee strike at this point and quicken the pace anyway. So Tama's offense is elite here. Tama will beat Jay White in that final night of block action. Mark my word, because that'll set up a really nice Tama Tonga versus Jay White title shot in the future, in a main event of some event in the future. And that's going to be a really good match. So the Tama Tonga match versus Jay White at the end of this G1 block should be a good one, but they'll have an even better one with the title on the line. I don't know if Tama will win it, but if that match is as epic as I think it will, it might then give Tama Tonga enough street cred to win the title in the future. So definitely something to think about. The fight now spills to the outside. Chase Owens lifts the padding up so he can slam Tama on the exposed concrete floor, but Jato's there to kick the pad back down. So Chase goes to use a chair instead. Jato again saves Tama Tonga, grabbing the chair. Tama now hits Chase from behind, gets it back in the ring. Huge Tongan splash off the top rope, but Chase is able to kick out of this. Chase counters the next attack and hits the C-trigger knee strike. Tama then counters a package pile driver that probably would have ended it and hits a stun gun. Tama hits a stun gun off of that, but Chase remembers from last year, it wasn't really fully hit. The stun gun was blocked. So both men then counter a lot. Then Chase blocks a springboard version of the stun gun. Chase blocking 2 stun guns in a row here. So twice Chase gets hit. Owens gets hit into the exposed turnbuckle twice, right into a stun gun that connects for the 1, 2, 3. Nice stuff here. The winner of the match by pinfall is Tama Tonga. Really good stuff when Tama was on the attack. Of course, Owens wanted to keep it slow so he didn't get overworked by the better Tonga. But Chase Owens is pretty boring. Let's just be honest. Tama Tonga looks great, though. Tama's offense is so good. His matches should just keep getting better and better all the way up to that Jay White G1 match. And then if he wins that match to set up a title match, I don't think Tama Tonga will win the G1, but we'll see probably an epic Tama Tonga versus whoever in the semifinals and maybe even in the finals as well. So I'm predicting maybe Tama Tonga is going to, the matches for him in G1 are going to get elevated and get better and better and better as we go, maybe all the way into an epic finals where he might lose that finals, but it's going to be epic. So I'm really looking forward to that. Tama Tonga's offense is just so sharp right now. So my prediction about Chase Owens getting the win against both of those guys didn't happen, but that's not what I wanted. That's just what I thought would happen. So I don't care about anything else in this B block other than having Jay White versus Tama Tonga be winner take all at the end. So we're on to our semifinal of the night. Semifinal, second to last match. It'll be in G1 Climax 32 action in the A block. Lance Archer versus Bad Luck Fale. This is the monster group, and this is the monster matchup. 2 big 6'8", 6'9", 6'10", 300 pounders here. So they have a singles record of 1-1 apiece, but in G1, Archer holds the advantage 1-0 in G1 action against these two. So after Okada faced Jeff Cobb and Toru Yano takes on JONAH, A Block got his real first Clash of the Titans when Lance Archer meets Bad Luck Fale. So yeah, Yano and Okada are kind of the two that aren't the monsters. So this is our true taste of monster versus monster action that we're gonna get a lot in A Block. Although Tom Lawler's not a true monster in that group either, but they do have 4 giant monsters, and then the other guys aren't that small either anyway. So these guys are, like I said, tied in 1 apiece in their careers. Archer had the most recent win in the 2019 G1. So this is going to be very unpredictable and very violent here in Sendai. When slobber, knocker, alert, and probably a lot of cussing guaranteed. Although I don't think there was that much cussing. Wonder why. So 3rd Bullet Club G1 League match in a row tonight, with Bad Luck Fale coming out first, Lance Archer second. This should be really good. Not a mat classic by any means, but it should be good nonetheless. And Archer comes out in all white and attacks Young Lions on his way to the ring. So Archer kind of looks like the TNA Lance Hoyt version when he's all in white here. I'm used to seeing him in all black. Lance goes up to the ropes in the corner to do his introduction, but Fale jumps him from behind, but Archer is able to block the Bad Luck Fall attempt right off the beginning here. So Archer shows his agility right away, doing some lucha style evasions. That was awesome. But Fale catches him with a massive shoulder tackle after that. Fale goes on the attack in the corner. The crowd's quiet for Fale. They do not like Fale. They want Archer to win this one. So Fale throws Archer to the outside, and we have our first brawl of outside the ring here in this match, but probably guaranteed to not be the last one. And spoiler alert, it is not the last brawl on the outside. We will see. So Archer is about to get Irish whipped into the barricade, but reverses it, sending Fale hard into the barricade. The whole support system almost collapsed on that one. Archer then rolls Fale, because he's a veteran, rolls Fale back in the ring. He wasn't looking for the count out, which is smart, unlike Chase Owens. Catching strays over here. Archer then goes back on the attack with some big strikes, but Fale uses some good boxing skills here to battle back with some body punches. Good boxing here by Fale. Archer now throws Fale back outside the ring as we have our second brawl outside. Fale hits a throat thrust and throws Archer into the barricade this time. So Fale doing the attack on the barricade. Now Fale is looking for a chair and finds one, but the referee is Red Shoes, so he comes out and just shields, gets in between and shields Archer from getting hit with the chair. Fale finds a second chair. Red Shoes takes that away too. Fale finds 2 more chairs now and puts them open faced on the outside. So someone's definitely going to get slammed through that at some point. And we find out it happens twice, but I think it was only planned to happen once. So that was pretty funny later on. Archer's now back up because that took too long with all the chairs. Archer hits some big strikes. The count's up to 13, and it's up 20 would be a count out. It's up to 13 when Fale scoop slams Archer right into those open face chairs. Archer just barely is able to get back in with 1 second to spare. Archer then counters Fale and hits a massive running crossbody. It was so high, Archer almost jumped over Fale, who's not a short man. The crowd absolutely loved that one, and so did I. That was insane. And don't forget, Archer's not only a huge guy, but he's also like in his mid 40s now. Really good stuff from the veteran, the big guy here. Archer takes the arm of Fale and tightrope walks across the ropes. That usually leads into like he like flips off it or does a moonsault or something insane, something he shouldn't be doing at either his age or even if he was a 20-year-old at his height or in size. So Fale pulls Archer, though we don't get to see what it was going to be, and crotches Archer on the ropes. Fale hits a Samoan drop off of this for a 2 count. Fale goes up to the middle rope, but Archer just runs back up there with a running knee lift. That looked great. Archer's gotten really good in the last few years, over the last like 5 years or so. He's really improved. He wasn't that great as Lance Hoyt. And Fale then blocks the blackout attempt. That's the finisher of Archer, but Archer maintains control off of this. The crowd's clapping along with some mounted punches to Fale's face. Fale tries to power bomb Archer out of this, but Archer is able to like twist his weight so that Archer goes to the outside of the ring, but he lands all right. It didn't really hurt Archer too bad. Meanwhile, Fale goes flying out of the ring and hits those chairs from earlier. That was what I was talking about. So I'm not sure if he was planning on hitting into those chairs, but probably not. That looked painful. Anyway, we didn't even really get to see it. We just heard it off camera, and then Kevin Kelly told us what happened. But Archer now runs right after that. Archer runs off the apron, hitting a somersault senton of all things. This guy's like 6'9", 300 pounds, and 45 years old. Now they fight on the apron, but Fale strikes Archer off the apron. The count was up to 19, and Archer, for whatever reason, cannot get back in. The referee counts the 20. The winner by countout is Bad Luck Fale. Kind of a flat finish there. Why couldn't, even if Fale was going to win, why couldn't someone win with a big move? We got the big monster block here, and now we're already getting countouts. I understand that's part of the sport aspect of it here, but didn't like that. Did not like the countout finish here. The rest of the match was all right. Pretty good. Not too much of the brawling. Archer made it amazing with all his lucha libre type skills for a big man, so that kind of ups this match from like good to great potentially, but a really flat finish. But hopefully we'll get to see more of Archer. Maybe he can do a little bit more of these moves against like JONAH and stuff like that, and it'll be some better matches. But wow, Lance Archer definitely impressed tonight with his agility for a 6'9", 300-pound 45-year-old. Crazy. So it's main event time, and none of those G1 matches were very long, so I was definitely expecting a 20 to 30 minute match here in the main event between two of the guys that were over the last decade really good. I know Goto's kind of slowed down, but these guys do have great chemistry together. I was expecting a really good match. So it will be in the main event, G1 Climax C block action, Hiroki Goto versus Tetsuya Naito. They have a singles record that's Naito holds the advantage 5-4, and their record in G1, Naito holds the advantage 4-2. So this will be the 7th G1 meeting between these two. After a 4-year stretch of Hiroki Goto and Tetsuya Naito appearing at the same G1 block, there was a gap in last year, but now they are reunited, and like I said, 5-4, the career record for Naito. Goto believes the fact that the Chaos Fierce Warrior hasn't gotten a win over LIJ since Wrestle Kingdom in 2016. I think I'm reading this off of New Japan's website. I'm not sure if that means all of LIJ or just Naito, but that's a big losing streak for Goto here. Naito has 5 wins in a row coming in their last 5 encounters. So wow, that means Goto went up 4-0 in their career, and Naito won the last 4. So en route to that, January 4th, 2016, Wrestle Kingdom encounter, Naito had recently formed LIJ as a young as a going concern with the new persona, consistently humiliated and derided Goto. So that's kind of where the Naito first started getting under people's skin, and Goto was the first one involved. That's where this whole rivalry comes from. So Naito defeated Goto in New Japan Cup that year and would cement his transition into Chaos 1 month later. I don't know what they mean by that, but Los Ingobernables would take credit for the change while mocking that the preferred gimmick of the mascot of Captain Kawada for Goto was rejected. I don't know what any of this means. Anyway, now Naito be credited by Goto's first 2 points, or will his back be against the wall in a bid for the Tokyo Dome main event in 2023? Will Naito start his campaign with an important win? So let's find out here. It's main event time. Tetsuya Naito out first. He looks very focused, and I hope Naito doesn't retire in the next year, but you can't rule out the possibility that it might happen. He's my personal favorite Japanese wrestler of all time. So there might not be too many more epic matches left for Naito, and this should be this should be a big one here. So we never know how many more main event matches we're going to see out of Naito. Let's enjoy this one. So I was very excited for that. We get 2 of the best music in New Japan back to back here as Goto comes out next. Goto also looks very focused, and the crowd is silent, anticipating this big main event match. So will they all be all in for Naito, or will Goto still have some fans show up, even though he's been on a career downcline? Naito takes his time as usual, and he is not wearing a shirt. You know it's going to be big time main event Naito tonight. So the crowd knows it too. They clap for a long time now. They know this is going to be a good one. We get a collar and elbow start. To start this match, so no fun and games and the usual stuff we see pre-match from Naito. All business here. Naito asks for a clean break on the ropes. Goto grants him that wish. They counter waist locks back and forth. Goto then gets the arm, but Naito uses some lucha moves to get out of that. Goto takes Naito back down with a headlock. Naito counters this one for a few 1 counts on a pin, but Goto keeps the hold applied. Naito now gets it back to their feet and to the ropes. Naito doesn't really give a clean break here, so he attacks the arm of Goto after giving 1 second after a clean break. So in the preliminary, this is the time I should mention, if you haven't been following in the preliminary matches, on night 1 and 2, Naito really hurt the arm of Goto, and Goto somewhat hurt the back of Naito's head, maybe the neck area. So Naito comes in with a little bit sore neck, back of the neck, and Goto comes in with a pretty sore arm. A lot more damage was done to that arm than Naito's neck. So Naito now targets the arm of Goto even more, and they quicken the pace. Goto hits a knee strike, but Naito rolls out of the ring. He doesn't want to quicken the pace here. So Goto gets annoyed, especially after that clean break wasn't returned earlier. Naito's annoying Goto even more by breaking the count over and over and going back outside. This happens a few times. The crowd claps, but there's no even telling what they were clapping for here. So 5 minutes have now passed, and the first 5 minutes are in the bank. And Naito seemingly has gotten into the head of Goto already. So Naito baits Goto to finally go to the outside and takes control over Goto, sending him into the barricade. Goto charges back in, but Naito dodges the lariat, and then big game-changing match-changing thing happens here. Goto charges. Naito ducks the lariat, and Goto's arm goes hard into the ring post, the already injured arm. So major plot point here in the match at about 5.5 minutes in. Naito then uses the barricade and the ring post to damage that arm even further. Now they're back in the ring. Naito applies a short arm scissor on the arm, and Goto gets to the ropes, but it took at least 10 seconds there. That arm is a mess now. So it's probably came into the match. That arm was 75% health. It might be all the way down to 25% now. So Goto tries to fight back, but Naito stays in control. Naito then hits multiple big strikes that attack the arm again. The crowd rallies behind Goto a little bit here, so there are some Goto fans, or at least fans that'll play along at least. So now, after a long dry spell, Goto does hit a big lariat at the 10-minute mark. So while Naito was in charge and destroyed Goto's arm a lot, almost in that entire 5-minute span, as we're now 10 minutes into a 30-minute time limit match, Goto now goes on the attack as he just turned it around with that lariat, and the crowd quickly rallies behind Naito. So they are definitely wanting Naito to win this match. Naito does turn it around with a drop kick to a prone Goto. The crowd loves that, and they're pretty much behind him 100%. Naito, that is. And as I write that, Goto's stuck in the short arm scissors again, and the crowd rallies for Goto. So I think they're just playing along, but they do want Naito to win. Goto gets to the ropes, but this time it took about 15 to 20 seconds to get out of that short arm scissors on the arm. The arm is probably down to 15 to 10% at this point. Naito quickens the pace. Now he's fine with the quick pace now that he's attacked the arm so much. He hits the combination cabron, then raises the fist post really quick, but not too long, before setting up Goto for a super Rana, and Naito hits it. Top rope Hurricane Rana, and basically stares into the Naito stares in the camera to say tranquilo. Then Goto blocks a Destino attempt right after that. Naito hits a huge spine buster instead. Goto then a great counter right after that. He was sensing danger, puts an armbar on Naito. Naito cannot get to the rope, and Goto's able to lock the bad neck, the previously hurt neck, along with the arm here. Naito's been trapped for over 30 seconds, and the crowd is super loud, rallying behind Naito, who eventually gets to the ropes. Now we're at the 15-minute mark, halfway through the time limit. Goto had a much better 5-minute span in that one, but his arm did sustain even more damage in that 5-minute span. So Naito's previously bad neck got damaged a little bit too, but not nearly as bad as the arm of Goto. So they have a huge forearm exchange that the crowd was clapping along with, but Naito stops to focus on the arm again. He doesn't want that exchange. Naito, with a cheeky smile on his face, now hits big elbow strikes to Goto's head. Goto's in desperation mode now and just instinctively hits a dragon screw leg whip to stop that onslaught. The crowd now rallies both men back to their feet. Naito blocks a backdrop suplex, but Goto blocks right back in, hits the suplex. Goto then hits the Ushigoroshi for a 2 count, and Goto looks to hit the GTR, but Naito strikes to block it out of it. Naito then hits a really nice rolling capoeira kick, or not capoeira kick, but just a rolling kick. Really awesome stuff. Naito then hits Destino. He hits it, but somehow Goto kicks out. So Naito with the biggest shot of the match, Goto is able to kick out. Goto will not go down without a fight here. So Goto blocks another Destino attempt with some elbow strikes, and Goto blocks a suplex after that and counters a corner attack into a showstopper. I don't know the exact term for it, but I think it's a showstopper. That has Goto in charge a little bit. It gives Goto some time to recover as the crowd rallies for them to get up. We're now at the 20-minute mark, 10 minutes, and while that 5-minute span in between 15 and 20 sure flew by like as if it was only 30 seconds. Really good action here. So great match. The crowd now rallies again as both men are not up yet. They're really loud here with their claps. Goto gets up first and tries he hits one kick to the chest and then an elbow drop out of a fireman's carry slam, but the crowd rallies behind Naito here. Goto's in charge, but Naito blocks a GTR attempt and drops Goto right on his head. I thought this was going to spell the end. I thought we were going to see a Destino right after this, but no, Goto blocks the Destino, hits a massive elevator slam. I don't know what he calls it, but I think it's a elevator slam. The crowd's super loud now, trying to rally behind Naito. They can sense a little bit danger, but Goto hits the GTR. The crowd even makes some noise with their mouth, even though they're not allowed to. And then the crowd makes an even louder noise with their mouths when the referee actually counts 1, 2, 3. Your winner by pinfall is Hiroki Goto. That is shocking. The crowd is shocked. They did not see that coming. I did not see that coming. Wow. Goto's arm had to have been at about 8% at that point. He kicked out of a Destino. Naito was able to absorb big moves throughout the match, but it only took one GTR, the Goto Revolution, for Goto to get the 2 points. Naito should still finish with more points than Goto, but this one's definitely going to hurt Naito. All 3 LIJ heavyweights get a big fat 0 after their first match. That's big development right there. We might still see all 3 LIJ members in the quarterfinals winning their blocks, so you never know how this is going to shake up, but wow. I wonder what Naito's going to say to the press. I can't wait. Come check back in today. Later on my channel, I'll read out the translations if you don't like to read subtitles. But yeah, I'll be doing that every night for G1 as well as these live reviews. But back to this developing story. Wow. Let's think about this real quick before we even think about the match. Naito versus Tanahashi is this Sunday, and there's only one preliminary match, so we'll probably see Tanahashi and Naito in Saturday's preliminary match. There's not much rest here for Naito, a little more rest for Tanahashi, but the big story out of that is Naito and Tanahashi are in must-win situations, both men losing in shocking fashion in their first matches. Although I completely predicted the easiest prediction for a shocking upset was Henare beating Tanahashi on night 1. But anyway, that match, Tanahashi versus Naito, is going to be full of drama. Unfortunately, Chris wasn't here on commentary to give us a live translation but Goto does speak in the ring. But yeah, Tanahashi and Goto are either one of those guys, either Tetsuya Naito or Hiroshi Tanahashi, is going to have either 0 points at the end of 2 matches, where basically when there's only 6 matches, 2 wins is going to be super hard to come back from and win, and 2 losses already, and the first 2 you're almost out of eliminated. But they could have a draw, and both of them could only have 1 point after their first 2 matches, with only 6 in G1 League matches this year. So that's crazy. That match is going to be so much full of drama on Sunday. I don't know if it's the main event, but I hope it is. That should be amazing. I'm really looking forward to that one. So like I said, Goto talks in the ring a little bit. The crowd claps respectfully for him, even though they all wanted to have Naito win. But Goto is a veteran. They show him proper respect here. Goto has a week now to recover from his arm injury until his next league match against Henare. So Goto will have a little time to recover. I think he'll have 2 preliminary matches, tag matches before that, where he's going to have to be very careful. His arm is a mess. So That'll finish up our review here. Really looking forward to Saturday, and I'll also be back later today with the reading out the translations from all the backstage comments. A lot happened tonight, and I can't wait to read those translations. So I'll be here in case you don't like to read subtitles. And thanks for watching. I'll be back every night, as well as I cover New Japan Strong as well. So go check those out. A lot of good, and in the coming months on New Japan Strong, we'll be seeing guys like Kushida and Hiromu Takahashi and El Desperado. So a lot of good things on this channel going forward. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great one, and I'll talk to you again soon. Peace.